Good evening, I'm Sangeeta Kandola. In the final days of campaigning for the mayoral election, the current mayor, Sadiq Khan, says he'll look at the possibility of bringing the Olympics and Paralympics back to the capital. But his rivals say there's far more pressing issues facing London. Our political correspondent Simon Harris has more.
In the red corner, Labour's Sadiq Khan. In the blue corner, Conservative Sean Bailey. Today, the two challengers were both in boxing rings, as the mayor announced what he hopes will be a vote winner.
If I'm re-elected, I'll be setting up a committee to explore whether we can bring back the Olympics to London.
Far be it from me to accuse Sadiq Khan of an election stunt, but this does feel like one.
A sequel to the glorious summer of 2012 is by no means certain. At this stage, the mayor is promising only to set up an exploratory committee to consider another London bid for the Games.
I've seen the difference that Olympics can make, but this would be one that's sustainable both in terms of finances and the
Is this an election gimmick?
Well, no, we know the IOC have said, the International Olympics Committee, it wouldn't be too soon for London to get it again in 2036 or 2040.
Everybody loves the Olympics, but I think Sadiq Khan can't get the Olympics back for two reasons. One, we have too much crime. He spent 5 years ignoring our biggest problem, and that will probably stop him getting the Olympics. And of course, he doesn't have the power to do this. What's so frustrating about Sadiq Khan, he spent 5 years concentrating on things he cannot deliver.
It cost taxpayers £9.3 billion to build the 2012 Olympic venues. Londoners faced an additional surcharge. Since then, the stadium and aquatic centre have shrunk. That downsizing would have to be reversed. One of the biggest challenges would be finding somewhere for the competitors and their coaching staff to stay. During the 2012 Games, the purpose-built Athletes' Village was home to more than 10,000 people. But it's no longer available. Almost 3,000 families now live in the flats. Other parts of the Olympic Park have been built upon.
We all loved London in 2012. I think it showed the best of our city. It was an absolutely amazing place to be that year when we hosted the Olympics. But rather than talking about lofty plans for the future, I think we should be focusing on the current mayor's actual record. And in 5 years, he's just not done very much.
I think it is completely right that London does bid for the Olympics every few decades, and that would be the timing he's talking about is about right, I think. But my plans for a real recovery in London aren't just about single events, they're about genuinely transforming our economy. I've announced, for example, trying to close City Airport, redevelop that whole quarter of our city.
Sadiq Khan's Olympic dream would need the backing of the government, but one minister dismissed it, saying the government wasn't considering an Olympic bid and was focused on dealing with COVID.
And this is the full list of candidates standing to be London Mayor. The details are also on our website. Just search ITV London. A murder investigation is underway after a man was stabbed to death at Brent Cross shopping centre earlier this evening. Police were called out at 6:45 after reports a group of males were fighting. A 21-year-old man died at the scene. An 18-year-old man has been arrested on suspicion of murder. The inquest into the Fishmongers Hall terror attack has been told that Usman Khan had previously plotted to set up a terrorist training camp in Pakistan because he was cross with police for raiding his home. Khan, who was a convicted terrorist, was released from prison 11 months before killing Jack Merritt and Saskia Jones. One of the Dunkirk little ships that took part in the evacuation of troops in World War II has been destroyed after a huge fire on an island in the River Thames. Katie Barnfield reports.
Sailing past Platts 8 today to look at the damage. There is, quite simply, nothing left. Boats torn to pieces. The boathouse just a skeleton. Tony Woolard owns this shipyard. As the fire ripped through it yesterday afternoon, all he could do was watch.
I went into the we broke into building number 2 to see what was going on inside, and by then the fire was rushing across the Belfast trusses in the roof. Within 4 minutes, the whole buildings, all 3 buildings were on fire. You're watching it go and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We've lost, I've lost everything.
As well as Tony's livelihood, a piece of history also went up in the flames.
Back from Dunkirk, having gained much honour for their invaluable services in aiding the evacuation.
Platts 8 was home to 3 of the Dunkirk little ships. that helped evacuate Allied soldiers during World War II. One, the Lady Gay, was completely destroyed.
The issue is that these boats are unique. There is only one of each of the type, and once they're gone, they're gone. And so to lose a Dunkirk little ship in this way is an absolute tragedy.
As an aside, take the island itself. The Luftwaffe tried to bomb this island during the war and never succeeded, yet someone with a little bonfire has managed to do it.
The London Fire Brigade say they believe the fire was accidental and seems to have been caused by a stray ember from someone burning rubbish nearby. The damage made much worse by high winds. At the height of the fire, 100 firefighters were trying to bring it under control. Luckily, no one was hurt.
What will you do now? What can you do now?
Nothing. Nothing I can do. There's no more facilities like this available. It's a bit numb, to say the least, but life's got to go on. I'm still here.
An online fundraising page has already been started to raise money for Tony and the other boat owners. But however much they get, some things can never be replaced. Katie Barnfield, ITV News.
Now, the easing of restrictions has seen alfresco dining options increase across Soho. But while restaurants and bars open up, it's made life even harder for wheelchair users. Chloe Keedy has more.
The roads are closed and the tables are set. It's pedestrians only in Soho's outdoor dining district. But what happens if you're in a wheelchair? Hi, Alan.
Hello, Chloe.
Alan and his wife Yvonne have been shielding since the start of the pandemic.
I've been locked away for 420 days. So today is our first time out.
And how do you feel about it?
I'm really excited.
But before we've even reached the end of the street, we encounter a problem.
I'm stuck. I don't want to interrupt their food, their dinner.
But with no way around them, Alan has no choice but to retrace his route and go in search of a dropped curb. Round the next corner, there is a path between the tables, but it's blocked.
Sorry. He was very nice, happy to move. For me, that's embarrassing.
So next time, Alan chooses to take the road, but that isn't always an option.
Pavement's entirely blocked. There's no drop curb. My only choice, take another U-turn, go back the way I came. And this street, completely impassable. I can't get down the road. I can't get up onto the pavements.
Finally surrounded by people, Alan and Yvonne say they still feel completely isolated.
It's frustrating with everything being opened up. We can't get to them. We can't join our friends if they come out.
Overall, how would you describe that experience?
I feel really excluded. At this point, I'm going home.
What needs to change?
The hospitality sector has had just a dreadful year. They need to make money. It comes down to the local authority. They've got to lay out the rules. They've got to say what is, what isn't accessible, and they've got to enforce.
Westminster Council told us it's sorry to hear about Alan's experience and will use his feedback to improve access to Soho. It acknowledges that accessibility has long been an issue here and says it's working hard to stop alfresco dining from making it worse. Chloe Keedy, ITV News, Soho.
Weather now. Here's Sally.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
Hello there and a very good evening to you. I hope you had a lovely Tuesday. Those winds were sure to have given this blossom a bit of a battering today. Probably not looking quite so nice by the time the night is out. However, those winds are easing. And then tomorrow we've got some scattered showers. It's less windy, so in any sunshine should feel a touch warmer. However, it is still quite cool. So back to tonight. We've got a bit of cloudy and wet weather just sinking southeast. Most of that should have cleared by dawn. With that cloud, a little bit chilly tomorrow morning, but most of us should be frost-free. And then as we start tomorrow, some of that cloud breaking to give some clearer spells, but also more cloud heading our way. So a bit of a mixture. And as you can see, those showers cropping up once again. There might be a slightly higher chance of catching one tomorrow as well, although still a bit hit and miss. Highs of 11 to 13 degrees, but with lighter winds, as I mentioned, it might just feel a touch nicer under any sunshine. Still cool under the cloud. And in the evening, you can see we've got a few more showers moving through. They will eventually clear away to give us some clearer skies and a cold start on Thursday. Thursday and Friday, though, not looking too bad at the moment. Friday probably the best day, but things turning a bit wet and windy at the moment on Saturday. I'll see you later on. Good night and sleep well.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV London weekday weather.
That's it. We're back on air tomorrow from just after 6 o'clock with updates in Good Morning Britain. Good night.